Hi folks, and welcome to the Fimbulmuk channel. I'm out in the woods again, on the way to the elderly person I'm caring for, and thought just to give you a little bit of a channel update and something you might find useful. And it's a forest resource again, and if you want to know about that, stay tuned. So, if you're still watching, a lot of you guys might already know it's not something that is really new to experienced bushcrafters, but maybe for you beginners and nature aficionados, this might be a tad interesting. And I'm talking about this little guy here. This is Fomes Formentarius, the common Tinder Conk. In German it's called Zunderpilz. There are some resources in this little mushroom that you might not know already, and you've seen in my other video how I process amadou, and of course this is the raw material. If you have some amadou, this is how it looks like. For those who don't know, the amadou is made from the so-called Tríona. This is a really valuable resource because you can use it for flint and steel firecraft, and I can show you in a minute. This is a piece of amadou I use for catching the spark with my striker and my quartz steel. Actually, it is a little bit easier to prepare charcloth for flint and steel, but what is really valuable about the amadou is that it keeps the spark for a long time, and it keeps the spark so long that you can even use it, and it might have been used in the Stone Age and in earlier civilizations, to actually you assume you made a campfire, and you want to save you the fuss of starting another, because if you get if it's wet outside and you are going maybe on a foraging or hunting trip, and you need to start a campfire fast, it was used to the conch itself was used to carry a spark. And if you look at that, it is not the only use. It is there's still a craft going on in Romania, and they process craft tradition going on, and they process the amadou a little bit like leather. And I made myself a pouch from that for my little Victorinox forester wood. And I know you guys are altogether too fond of blades, so I show you the knife also. Beautiful wooden handle. And to be honest, I'm not using it a lot these days. I got a version with the plastic scales in black, and because the wood is very beautiful, but it also gets grimy really fast, and since I really use my knives rather hard and in conditions that are less than ideal for for beautiful knife. I really like wooden handles and love my custom bushcraft knives. We'll make a video about that on another occasions. Those knives are stabilized, and I find that that's something like birchwood burr or harder woods are a little bit less sensitive to dirt, grime and abuse. Anyway, but it's not about the knife, it's about that pouch. Well, you can see I made some crappy blanket stitch, and well, unfortunately my lovely woman made me a beautiful bone button for that, but fact is it tore out. You can see the amadou I used is rather thin, and you might want to reinforce that because it's not leather, obviously, and it's actually not too bad. It has a really nice feel to it. It's like shins a little bit, and it's used for hats and for a lot of applications, including medical care. If you look at that piece, it's really soft and tactile, and the conch itself has anti-inflammatory properties. It is reputed to and currently evaluated actually in the treatment of cancer, certain types of cancer. It is antibiotic and antibacterial. So if you want to make a band-aid or something from that, it was used as a band-aid actually in the medieval ages and maybe earlier, but we don't have evidence for that because it's an organic material, and well, it rots away with time. And but if you consider that is still widely in use in e.g. Romania, Siberia, and stuff. Finland, maybe you Finnish guys, you can let me know in the comments if it's still in use in Finland for those applications. The other thing is that you can make an immune system boosting tea from it, and which actually tastes not too bad. It's not like birch polypo that that you see your ancestors if you tasted it after you tasted it. Well, and I will not be processing this little conch here, but I can show you how it looks and well, how to do it. I don't have much time now, and it's a little bit time consuming, so I rather just show you the ins and outs. If you want to process amadou, what's that? Well, it's a little bit of a test for any bushcraft knife, because the outer shell is rather hard and it's really tough on your blade. It's not easy to cut. I can show you. I'm using a Swiss Army knife, and the surprising thing is that this is really well suited for processing amadou, because it is it has a high flat grind, and it comes with a rather thin grind. It's not thick in the edge. It's just 0.3 mil, and well, it's just rather slicey. And this is what you want in Romania. I heard that they use sickles for that, and this is perfectly relatable because given that they are really sharp, and well, using my forester now for pointing it out, because well, a bit counterintuitive. So if you look at this, you have several resources. You can see here, I just already poked a little bit, and this is a rather porous material. If you look at that, this makes it rather suitable for fire drilling. I have heard. I have not tried it yet. I most certainly want to try that, because I'm not as skilled in fire drilling or friction fires to date, and I just want to learn it because it's rather interesting to do. And well, I'm an experimental archaeologist student, so this is a reenactor. So nothing wrong with knowing stuff and practicing stuff, and that's what's driving me. It's learning things, being out in nature, learning things, and what I like is having that epiphany feeling. You know, you ask yourself, you keep asking yourself, you're looking at artifacts and stuff, and you look at the artifacts and you ask yourself, why did they do this the way they did? And then you have the chance to do it, and then it's like an epiphany. So you actually you can learn what, example given, let's see, the Iceman did in his leisure. Well, no. And that's a cool thing. And coming back to the mushroom, you can see this here part. There's, I don't know if you can see that properly. This here part is the trama. This is the part you can use for amadou. And what you want to do is you want to remove the outer shell, and you can see there are these rings, and this is the lamellas, or don't know if it's called that way, the sporing part where the mushroom propagates. It's like a sponge, and it's really, if you look at that, it's breaking away. So this is not suitable for amadou, because it will break on you, and it's not. You could process it as powder, and you don't need to throw that away, because it has the same ingredients as the rest of the mushroom, more or less, and you can make tea from it, and or ointment or anything like that. So it's not just one resource you need to you need, and you throw away the rest. And well, you can see the trama is already coming loose, which is a good sign, Well, it's a little bit brittle. This is another thing. A lot of times in videos on YouTube or tutorials you read online, it's always the perfect Amadou, but that's not going to happen. Even the professionals go through a lot of conks for making that perfect hat or that perfect pouch or whatever have you, or a perfect Amadou or something. So you need to adapt. You need to adapt to what you are having, and if you get a rather thin trauma like that, well, that's something to catch a spark. And well, in Germany, the guy who processed the Amadou was called the Horderer, and this is there's a dialect name for the conch that is Hodersau. This is a Bavarian from the Bavarian dialect, and it means, well, not literally, but transferred into English, it would mean a rag sow. Don't know why. I can put some more research into it and can give you the etymology about etymology. It was, yeah, you know what I mean. Meaning rags and pieces and stuff, because, well, you end up with a lot of different materials, and you need to know which part to utilize. And, well, it's not always the perfect thing. It's not a supermarket you're going to. You need to adapt to your environment and to your resources, and that's the whole point of it. This is why this is indigenous knowledge, not in a way that we all dress up as apologies to my First Nations friends, Indians, and put a feather in your hair, and no, that's not what's happening in Germany. It's not we are all Vikings and our Viking ancestors either. It's not. There are no Vikings anymore, and I personally would not want to be called a criminal. I don't go out onto the fjord and steal my neighbor's sheep. Why should I? So I'm not a Viking, and I will not be. And there is a huge gap between the traditional knowledge of Vikings or those, better yet, those Scandinavian Iron Age cultures, because that's what it is. It's not the Vikings. The Vikings were pirates. Period. It's not a period. That's not what indigenous wisdom is all about. Indigenous wisdom means you are born into a certain habitat, and you adapt to your environment. And and when I'm talking about stuff in Germany, that might be a whole different matter for you in the US or in Scandinavia or in Tasmania or in Australia, and I wouldn't know how to do it in Tasmania, so I would have to connect to other indigenous people and ask them. And that's that's the trick. You connect with people, and indigenous wisdom is about connection. It is not about at least not at first. It's on a fundamental basis. It's not about oh, these are my ancestors, or those are the spirits, or those are the gods. If you believe in that, that's perfectly fine, and that's really okay. And I got my own spirituality, but at first it's not about spirituality, but it is about your environment and getting used to your environment and making do with what you have. And that said, the Tinder Conk is a piece of indigenous knowledge that is about to go extinct, as well as the conch is, because at one time they people took a lot of them, and because scarcity, product scarcity, or rather supply scarcity during the world wars led to people taking everything. Many people doing this. If a lot of people did what I do, well, that would not be a good thing. So just for just to make that clear again, I got permission to take this for educational purposes, but the Tinder Conk is protected by the law in Germany. As I have learned recently, it's no longer that strict. You could take one or the other, sorry, but if you don't need to, don't do it. Well, or better, you can, if you look at the conch, you see this this part here. If you cut along this part and leave the rest of the conch on the tree where it grows, it will grow back. If you leave enough to grow back, it will regenerate alright, and you would have a smaller piece, and maybe not the best quality Tríona, to be honest. So this is the reason why I harvested this whole. But if you just want to, a band-aid, if you want a little bit of Amadou for flint and steel firecraft, testing it out, this would be perfectly sufficient. The rack you have seen, which I showed you, this piece also was harvested in this sustainable manner. So, well, it's not exactly small either. You could, if you wanted to, make another pouch from it for a knife or something, or for what have you, maybe your matches, a matchbox or something like that, or a ferro rod or something, fire steel, something. I keep that to still wounds in a pinch, or so it's in my medical kit. This is what you can get if you harvest the conch sustainably, and it grows back, and you can harvest it again. And if you don't overdo it, as a rule of thumb, it is that if you leave about 20% of the conk on the tree, it will grow back all right. And this is perfectly doable. It's not. Another thing is, if you want to make a hat or something, then you need to harvest a lot of mushrooms for one hat, because if you have a little bit of experience, that gets better with time, but you can never say what material you get. It can be utterly crappy, and or it can be the perfect amadou. You can have a tiny conch, or rather small conch like that, and with a very thick trama, and or you can have a big one with a really crappy trama. You will process to shreds. And I learned recently that the higher you get in altitude, the better the amadou might become. Also in the polar regions, it's a different matter from what we have in Germany. At least in this hill region, it's a hilly region, and maximum altitude is about 400 meters, so you need to go to at least 800,000 meters to experience kind of an effect on the quality of the trama. That said, I will give you another video about how I do process the material, and maybe do some experiments with, I haven't tried that yet, with ash to prepare it for flint and steel firecraft. I will also look a little bit more into the backgrounds of the medical properties. If you want some interesting but a bit difficult articles, you can always go to pubmed.gov, which is a really helpful resource site. Very much recommendable to do this, because you also read a lot of things that are not outright wrong on the webs, but well, it's a little bit dangerous if you get a cough and you help yourself with some birch polypore tea or chaga or something, or herbal tea and stuff, that's perfectly fine. But if you want to cure cancer at home or something like this, well, there is a certain evidence about cancer not being an issue in regions like Siberia, Finland, and the northernmost regions where chaga, example given, is drunk on a regular basis, or Tinder Conk preparations are still drunk. There is a certain evidence. This doesn't mean that's 100% the case. It's a theory. And a theory can be proven or disproven, and that's the process of science, which is really fascinating, which is really helpful for human society, and everything we have because of science. And science is also one caveman hitting pirates rock to a flintstone, and look at that, it sparks, and maybe if we put, it looks a little bit like what happened yesterday when lightning struck a tree, and maybe we can we can put some Tinder on it, and hey presto, there's a fire. That's also science. This is something that sometimes gets forgotten, that empirical science is also science. And but if you, so be careful around that stuff, that kind of stuff. If someone claims he's got the ultimate knowledge, maybe he hasn't, because there's no such thing as the ultimate knowledge. So it is reputed and evaluated at the moment as a treatment for cancer and other fatal illnesses, but that's the point. It's being evaluated. It doesn't mean that fire away, go nuts, and it will not hurt you. You can do it, and it's a natural remedy. If you stick to your natural remedies, well, one thing is they cannot hurt you. They not much. If you take, for instance, foxglove preparations you made at home, that can be really fatal. Or you can, or you use concoctions with alkaloids in them. Alkaloids can be utilized for several things, and the digitalis in foxglove, it can be used in medical preparations, and but you need chemistry for that. And well, it's also chemistry if I do this and just make tea from it. That's also chemistry, but you need some rather advanced chemistry for making a sophisticated medical remedy from it. And it's a pharmaceutical process, and well, you can't do it at home. And while medicine, while doctors tend to be a little bit too conservative around phytotherapy, the therapy with herbal remedies, it's perfectly understandable too, because there are a lot of, well, people who are really convinced of something that is more like an ideology, running around claiming that's the next hot shit. And in science there is no such thing as the ultimate truth. We are looking for it. We are looking for the ultimate truth, and but sometimes you just have to continue evaluating some more, and finding out. And that's a good thing. That's not something that's bad. It's a good thing. It's because you can learn new things, and if you claim you get the ultimate truth, and that's the thing, and even tribal knowledge or indigenous wisdom is not perfect. It cannot be. If it's a tradition, and well, there are traditions where you drink your own urine, as I said in another video. So and that's, science has proven that this is not true. Doesn't help. Doesn't do anything except poisoning yourself. So we now know it's a rather silly thing to drink your own urine. So it might be that all the traditions centering around a Tinder Conk aren't true either. That's not going to happen, by the way. It's the evaluations and studies paint a rather positive picture of it being effective. It's not. On the other hand, please don't get me wrong. I'm not a medical scientist. I'm just some random fat guys standing in a forest telling you stuff about his experiences and his views of the world. It's not about it's not that I claim to be able to cure diseases with that stuff. I just can refer to things I have learned, and I am telling you that from a perspective of an experimental archaeologist and a bushcrafter. That's it. It's so. Please use proper caution if you use natural remedies at all. On the other hand, stay open, and there's a lot to learn, and our society tends to forget about these things. That's the thing about indigenous knowledge. Indigenous knowledge is about connecting with your environment. And, well, I'm not a communist or a socialist even, and maybe capitalism is the best thing we have. Don't know, can't. There are other people you can estimate this far better than myself. I'm not an economist either, and I don't claim to be, but the thing with the kind of consumerism we have is that it needs you to be sad, sick, depressed, disconnected. And the answer is connection, of course. Climate change is a symptom of disconnection. It's not something, that's not a one-way street, and it would not be a really tough task to. We have all the data we need. And if you actually it would be a really positive story to you could tell about climate change, because, well, a lot of people don't feel well in this society. A lot of people are sick, a lot of people are depressed, stressed out, suffering from burnout, depression, and I'm not a stranger to that either myself. And if you look at that connection via a new indigenous wisdom. Not that you don't have to dismiss Christianity all of a sudden. Well, if you read that book and it counsels you to sacrifice your firstborn son on an altar, and you go build an altar and sacrifice your firstborn son, that might be not compatible with modern society. They might stick you in a box, and for good reasons. And several things I don't think, well, it's a syncretism. The Bible in itself might be, I don't know, I don't want to spoil a belief for anyone, and I'm not saying anything about the Bible, and it's a book well worth reading. It's, for a lot of people, it's a holy book, and I very much respect that. The same way I respect the Quran, the Amdot, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, or Buddhist scriptures, the Torah, Kabbalah. There are a lot of spiritualities around, and we should focus on what we have in common, enough said, instead of what makes us different. It's a thing about we live on, and this is a scientifically proven fact, we live on a ball of dirt hurling headlong through a lot of nothing at all. The next planet that would be habitable with a lot of effort, and life there would be really shitty compared to what you can see. Look at that, look at the trees. That's a wonder. That's something to be grateful for. It's something awesome. It's the mere existence of trees is a really awesome thing. And well, what I want to say is it's not about that you have to live in a commune and that you are no longer allowed to eat meat or drive your car or something else. That it's not about the thing. It's just about the first step is going out into the woods and getting to know your environment and really getting it to know, not just in a manner, oh, that's a Tinder Conk, I must take it, and I must, oh, there's another, and I take that too, and well, no, this is not how it works. But if you get to know the conch intimately, you will profit from that. If you know your mushrooms, and you will profit from that. It's not something that's just you need to you need to adapt to frugality or something. That's not the point of it all. And it's just knowing what you're doing. It's getting to know new things, learning stuff, and maybe it's a bit of a bold claim to become one with nature. That's not going to happen too. We are not a part of nature. When when I return, I will sit in a flat and have a roof over my head and books and have a cup of tea and stuff. And the tea is imported from what have you, India. And well, it's not a bad thing to have. Creature comforts are awesome, really, and no one needs to live in a cave anymore. But it is about connection. It is about a little less fear, a little less consumerism. If you find a Tinder Conk and you can make a pouch from that, maybe even with some homemade cordage, this will not be the best pouch there is. You have seen what happened to my pouch, where that lovely bone button came off. Still, I actually looked for it and found it, but well, it's not a really cool pouch. It's not the greatest pouch there is, blah. But it is something I feel attached to, because it's something I love, because I've processed the Amadou myself. I stitched it together, and my lovely woman made me that beautiful bone button for it, and well, it's not her fault that the material was a little bit too thin. Maybe I'll make a new pouch and use the bone button on that. And so apologies, honey. Didn't do that on purpose. Don't beat me up. So, no, just kidding. I don't get beaten up. Not frequently, at least. No. This is rather important to me. It's not actually. My point is not just teaching you how to process Amadou or making using these resources, but also maybe offer a little perspective that's not so extreme, so to say. It's also always seems to me that there are only 1 or 0. It's just yes or no. It's nothing in between. There is no dialogue. There is no discussion. There's no compromise. There's nothing. There's either you live naked in a cave, or you fly to the stars. That you can fly to the stars as well as doing it sustainably, no one wants to know. And a lot of people say, he's talking about big pharma, and he's a part of big pharma because he does. Actually, people claimed I were, which is outright ridiculous. I'm not a big advocate of big pharma, and I have my severe questions concerning the politics of, well, everything these days. But that's not the point. It's the ones that are fond of natural remedies are making really bold claims. Oh, this is suited against cancer or COVID or stuff. So everything else is wrong. Is evil even. Well, you can question the way vaccination has been enforced upon people during the pandemic. You can, but then you need to discuss on the level of a virologist, not common Joe, not because you saw that on YouTube and someone told you so, that the reptiloid moon Nazis from Alpha Centauri are going to take over the world and putting some nanobots into your brain. If you claim something like that, if you claim, you must have evidence to even constitute a theory. If you say, well, due to scientific evaluations of the blood circulation of a population of, say, 1,000 people, there is evidence that there are nanobots in their blood circulations. And you can provide data on that, and you can say so. Then you can say yes, there is certain evidence that there have been nanobots injected into people. Just as an example, of course. Don't know if it has happened. I can't evaluate that. And I don't want to discuss this in depth. It's just an example. It's just about, well, it doesn't work the way that I make a bold claim, and everyone who doesn't fit into my claim and every information that doesn't fit into my claim is dismissed, or even aggressively dismissed. That's not how it works. It's okay, you might win the discussion, okay, you might have been right in parts and stuff, and maybe you are even right about everything. It's a really mad world. I don't know it. I can't claim that, and I won't claim that. That everyone was wrong about that. Maybe we are all wrong. But the thing is about natural remedies. The thing about natural remedies is that they do work, partly they are just superstition. Something like something that looks like a reproductive organ is good for your stamina or anything. That's, in most cases, this has been proven as being a myth. Nothing wrong with that. We just know that it doesn't work that way. If it is something ritual or spiritual for you, that's not the point. You can always do this. But if something works, and that's the really, really intriguing and interesting part, that if you, for instance, if you take, why does chaga work for fire starting? And if you look into it, you can see that there are terpenoids inside. The same reason applies to the Tinder Conk. The Tinder Conk works because of terpenoids, and the name is reminiscent of turpentine for a reason, because it is essentially nearly identical. And turpentine burns and terpenoids burn. And that's what happens with that. If you know that the same thing is found in birch bark. You know why birch bark is a really great fire starter. And it is also antibacterial and anti-inflammatory. Everything that has terpenoids in it or polysaccharides has the same properties, obviously. And you can, if you can develop kind of systematic knowledge about stuff like that, you look at the birch tree, see a resource, and you know what it does. If you know what's in it, you can transpone it to other trees, to other resources. That is a really fascinating thing, because there are principles in nature that apply to a lot of things, and if you know the principle, it is far easier to adapt to other resources. And maybe that's a little bit food for thought. I will give you, I seem to be unable to post actual links in the description, but I will post the, I just have to figure it out, by the way, it's all my fault. But to date, I will put the URL in the description as to recent studies about the Fomes Formentarius, Tinder Conk, so that you can see that I wasn't telling you any bullshit, because, well, that can happen too. I'm not a stranger to being wrong myself. That's the thing. That's how it works. And if you tell me, hey, Fimmelmerk, that's wrong, I won't get mad at you. I will be glad, because this is the way you can learn. If you do the wrong thing all the time, and you wonder why you can't get good results or something, and someone comes along and tells you, well, that's not how it's done, and you do it a different way and it works, that's a really great thing. So please, if you think I'm wrong, or if I made a mistake, please feel free to notify me, because I would be really glad about that. And but on the other hand, I did my homework beforehand, so maybe it's not probable. Anyway, if you see something, applies to all the videos on my blog, and or on my blog, or on other platforms, because I do have other accounts too. Notify me. I will be glad to discuss things with you, and if I'm wrong, I'm the first to admit I'm wrong. Because, well, that's a valuable resource. Discussion is a really valuable resource, and I would personally love to see a society that returns to respectful discussion. If anyone says, I respectfully beg to differ, because This is how we learn. This is how we connect to each other, and this is the point I mentioned earlier on. Connection is what will maybe save us from the many problems we have. And connection is not just connection with nature or embracing trees, or not that I do I do embrace trees because, well, it feels good. Don't know if there's some big thing going on, but it feels good. It feels firm, sturdy, alive, and well, especially in spring when the sap is rising and stuff, and it's a good feeling. It's just, maybe there's more to it, maybe there's less to it, maybe it's complete bullshit, maybe, don't know. This is what I mean. But this is not the thing where you start. The thing where you start is connect with people, connect with nature by being in nature, getting to know nature, learn how to use resources responsibly. You can use the resources. In fact, that's a great thing. It's a really great guy. I really like to watch his videos and updates. It's Michael Ridge. Is a guy who's traveling on horseback for decades now. Leads a nomadic lifestyle in the US, which is not exactly easy, and has a treasury of indigenous knowledge. And what did I want to say? That it's about connection. What he does is living off the land, and well, if you eat some berries, and inside the berries there are seeds, and if you have seen, unfortunately, that's not an issue in Germany. But if you have seen a bear poop or something, and you see the seeds in what came out, and well, you can eat as many berries as you want. Just go to the toilet in the woods, and you propagate the seeds by that, and you also offer nutrition for the soil. Maybe a little bit of a disgusting topic, but this is how it works in nature. It's not something. This is a good example because we find that disgusting, and well, I'm not different either. I don't actually. I don't like to go for a loo in the woods. It's not what pleases me. I do that, of course, because, well, okay. But if you have eaten local, indigenous food, e.g. Seeds, berries, mushrooms, well, you will always, your fecus will always contain a certain amount of seeds and spores and what have you, and nutrition, of course. And so you are actually a benefit for the ecosystem. It's not that humans are always evil and you are not allowed to. No, you are a part of the ecosystem. It's not. You are not a stranger. It's something really beautiful that we are nothing else. We are not different from the animals. We are an animal. We can talk to a smartphone in the woods, but well, there would be a deer or a pig coming around, maybe it would find that rather silly. Maybe, yeah, why does that naked ape talk to some screen that he has put in the crevice of a tree? You can see that in that way too, and but we are a part of it. It's not exclusively that we are alien to nature. We are nature, and so that's. I think if you realize this and go out into the woods and try to be a part of it and try to get reacquainted with nature, not in a radical way, not in something. Don't do anything extreme. You don't need to. That's not the point. The most revolutionary act you can do nowadays is get some rest. Take your time. Do little things. Don't. Well, a lot of times I have heard in my life that, wow, you didn't travel there, and you didn't do this, and you didn't do that, and you didn't see this, and you didn't see that. And while I would love to travel, I can't afford it. But that's not a big thing. It's not. There are a lot of things that are really simple that can make you happy. Go out into the woods, get some fresh air, make yourself something good. Whittle, process amadou, don't overdo it, as I said, and well, carve a bone needle or something if you get permission to take the bone. Because Germany is a very special place, you need permission for almost everything. Everything is forbidden except those things that are explicitly allowed, but then you need to fill out a form to apply for the things that are allowed to. That's not. Sometimes it really sucks. But on the other hand, I can relate to parts of it, because, well, if everybody would just go out into the woods and harvest Tinder Conks with a chainsaw, there would be no Tinder Conks left. So maybe it's not exclusively a bad thing. So I hope I managed to make myself clear again. If you have any questions, let me know. I always keep the comment section open, so well, feel free to ask. I try to answer as soon as possible, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and maybe you can go outside and do some little project, or just go on a hike and yeah, sit on a stump, have some tea or coffee or what have you, and that's all you need. It's not most revolutionary act these days in modern society is getting some rest, not being stressed out, and doing good things that are good for you, good for your mental health, because that's don't buy into those conspiracy theories either, but there are political forces that want you exhausted, they want you depressed, because depressed people don't go on demonstrations, go on strike or something. They just don't care. They just carry on. If you are constantly in survival mode, it's not. You don't do anything anymore, and well, you can be controlled quite easily. So, and the biggest asset that we have is passion, compassion, empathy, love, even, and connection. and connection is not always simple, but to start is simple. The threshold is really low. Just go out into the woods, go for a silly walk, for your silly mental health, as the famous meme states. But do it. You won't regret it. It's good for you, and I want you to realize that it's not that complicated to change things, and not that if you get a problem, that problem will exist in 15 minutes time also. So you can tackle the problem. As long as you tackle the problem, it doesn't matter if you take your 15 minutes of fresh air or what suits you, brewing yourself a tea or staring out of the window or something, or take an hour, go out into the woods and return and tackle your problem calmly, not in a stress, fight or flight mode, but well, and that actually has something to do with medicinal properties of Tinder Conks and natural resources, because if you look at those discussions after you went out into the woods for a little walk, maybe half an hour, maybe an hour, and you return, then you have a new perspective on that, and so you can discuss with people that might be out of your own bubble and out of your own peer group, and well, maybe you can find a consensus. And that's about society. That's the thing. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video again. I wish you that you can profit from what I said a little bit. If you have any questions, as I said, feel free to ask. And I hope you take care, and see you next time.